Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Celtic Way. I am your host, John McGinley. I'm joined by Tony Haggerty, who's live in Paisley for us at St Mirren versus Celtic. We're here to talk through all the team news, all the reaction to that. There's a certain Mr. Ida in the team today. But before we do that, we've got a new sponsor to bring you, Tony. We've got a sponsor for the show, and we've got a quick word for them to begin. The Celtic Way is now brought to you by S1 Jobs. It's time to hand in your transfer request, then head over to s1jobs.com and upload your CV today. With thousands of jobs across Glasgow and the surrounding area, you'll find the one at S1 Jobs and start your search today. Tony, nice to have a sponsor on board. That's our quick spiel for them. We'll get right into the Celtic team.
We'll get right into the Celtic team, John. Forgive me, the sun is shining and blinding me here.
Yeah, of course.
Say that, but there you go. But I am and there you go. You run through the team.
Yeah, I'll bring us to the team. So we've got Kasper Schmeichel in the goal today. We've got Alistair Johnston at right back, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty. Jeffrey Schlupp retains his place in the team, and it's a midfield of Callum McGregor, Annie Engels, Rio Hatate. And the front three today, Tony, is Nicholas Kuhn, Daisen Maeda and Adam Ida. On the bench today, we've got Sinisalo, Taylor, Scales, Jota, Yang, McCowan, Kenny, Ralston, and young Jude Bonner. Tony, we'll get your immediate thoughts on the team there.
Jota, the only absentee then from the starting 11, the Aberdeen game the other night. Clearly maybe thinks that Maeda would be best deployed in that kind of defensive shift, because I think St Mirren might come out the traps and come out the blocks quick and try and start quick, and maybe wants to match up physically and energy-wise as well. So I'm never perturbed when I see Adam Ida in the team. I have to say, I think he's gone horses for courses as well. Maybe he feels that Adam Ida up front to hold it up, run the channels, and hopefully get a goal or two, John. But yeah, you go with the manager on this when you trust his judgment, don't you? It's always a difficult game when they come to Paisley. Stephen Robertson's teams are always physical, they're always robust, so maybe that's his thought process.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, obviously the manager knows what he's seen in training. He knows what the specific threats of St Mirren are, which is, so if he feels this is the team to do the job today, then let's back it and see it. I think Adam Ida, obviously, he went through that kind of scoreless streak earlier in the season. Has kind of put that behind him. It's a really good opportunity for him to show today that he can still perform in this role, and we can still have Maeda on that left flank. It doesn't have to just be Maeda through the middle all the time.
No, and as you say, it's a huge chance for Adam Ida today, isn't it? And he's got to grasp the metal. Still a lot of Celtic fans not fully convinced, John. I'm fully convinced this guy will score goals for Celtic. He doesn't need to convince me. And I don't know where you fall in that camp yourself, but listen, I like seeing Adam Ida in the team, because as you said, the burden doesn't then just fall to Maeda all the time. But Maeda's been playing really well through the middle, but if the manager's tweaking it, he's tweaking it for a reason, and I think you'll see why today.
Yeah, I hope so. And it's not as if that today might not go our own way in the first hour. And there's game changers on the bench, and we say this all the time, but it's less of a starting 11 game anymore. It's more of an overall squad game. And if you've got Luke McCowan on the bench, you've got Jota on the bench, ready to come into the game and make an impact, then they're probably going to have their say at some point today. Yeah,
and it's as strong a team as you can imagine, John, isn't it? It's one change from the team that beat Aberdeen 5-1 in midweek, and Jota, who's still building up his fitness, he maybe thinks as well, rather bring him on, hopefully when the game is, done and dusted with half an hour to go, or if he has to bring him on earlier than that because it needs changing, then as you say, you've got players like that can do that. Strong back four. I'm glad Schlupp's kept his place. I'm really happy about that. I'm really chuffed with what he's bringing to the table at the minute. And if conversations aren't going to, I know the manager was a wee bit coy about conversations with Jeffrey Schlupp at the minute. I would ask, you've got to ask the question, John, and see his thoughts on this. But I think if Schlupp comes in and sees a successful team playing in a winning team and wins a couple of medals before the end of the season, might help convince him to stay on longer, with Kieran Tierney returning as well. But really pleased with what he's brought to the table, as I say, and strong midfield there for me. Those three are the strongest. But again, another one, you've got Luke McCowan who can come on, and I have no qualms about Luke McCowan coming on and doing his thing, because he's pleased me greatly too since he's came in. So it's a strong team. And also the other night, Jude Bonner got some minutes. It'd be nice to be in a position to give him even more minutes, John.
Yeah.
by the end, and just blood them in gently, but keep giving them a kind of regular minutes, So I'd like to see that. I'd love to see Celtic be in that position come the end of the game.
Yeah, I think so. And I think while Paolo Bernardo's out of action, then Jude Bonner will be looking for as many minutes as he can get at the moment after making his debut, of course, through the week. It's an interesting day in the Scottish Premiership today, Tony. I'm not sure if you're aware of live scores elsewhere, but just for anyone who isn't aware, I brought currently 2-1 to Motherwell. Rangers were 2-0 down, but have clawed a goal back after half-time. Obviously, midweek, we can't take anything for granted in terms of how that will finish, but Celtic are looking to wrap up this league title as quickly as possible. And for Celtic, it's all about how they approach these matches, how they approach the tests that come their way. I think St Mirren, off the back of some big results recently, are looking at today as a potential another one to kind of boost their top six ambitions. St Mirren aren't going to make it easy today, and Austin Trusty, Cameron Carter-Vickers could have their hands full.
Oh, without a doubt. Ryan wrote a piece about the threat that will face from Mandron and Olasanya, didn't he? And traditionally, Steve Robinson's teams have always had a Burley attack, a focal point, a hitman, you would call him a target man. Curtis Main was it for Motherwell, wasn't he, for a long time? So he favours that kind of approach. That's fine, you know what's coming. And listen, you just ask the team to stand up to that, don't you? Whatever they do. But, St Mirren went to Ibrox last week and did a number on Rangers. Mandron and Olasanya gave them a torrid time, didn't they? So, and they came away with a 2-0 win, the second time they beat Rangers this season. And they've always ran Celtic close under Steve Robinson stewardship here. I'm expecting much the same, John, but I'm expecting, as a manager always says, Celtic to come alive and face that challenge head on. We know what's coming, so I've no qualms about Celtic being able to cope with St Mirren's physicality. We've got the guile, we've got a bit of craft, we've got some technical players that could pick holes in that possibly as the game wears on. But yeah, fair play to St Mirren, and they will see it as the chance to claim both half of the Glasgow Divide scalps within the space of 7 days, and they are pushing hard for that top six, aren't they? So they've got ambitions as well.
Can I ask if you have a sense of what the pitch is looking like today? I know it was kind of a talking point for both managers in the build-up.
Yeah,
does it look all right?
I'm looking at it. There's some balding patches on it, John, to be fair, but it looks okay. It looks conducive for a game of football. Let's put it that way. You'll see yourself when the game starts. But there are pitches, there's bits on it where there's a lack of grass, shall we say? But no, on the main, it looks quite good.
It was interesting because Stephen Robertson was kind of suggesting that it might be a positive for St Mirren if the kind of pitch drags Celtic into more of a battle. But we'll see. I mean, Celtic played well in Paisley at the start of the season, so you're looking for a similar type performance today. And I think it'll be a bit more hard fought today. St Mirren have looked motivated of late, even if they've not been picking up some of the results they've wanted. They've always been in matches and competing well. And I think Celtic will there might be a sense of patience today. It will be interesting to see how Celtic start the game as well today, Tony, because they started the game slowly against Hibs, they started the game slowly against Aberdeen, albeit went on to win 5-1. And you're looking for Celtic to show that aggression, really be in the game in those first 10-15 minutes, because that's been a problem in the last couple of matches.
A sluggish start won't do here today, John.
No.
Because they could end up finding themselves in trouble the way they did at Easter Road last weekend. So, and probably should have been at least a goal down at Celtic Park against Aberdeen in midweek, if the truth be told. Aberdeen spurned a couple of glorious opportunities, didn't they? So that's something that the manager will probably have addressed, or it will have been spoken about. Can't afford to start sluggish, and you're coming up against a team who might have looked at that and thought, you know what, from the off, let's have a go here and see how they cope. So that's something I'll be very wary of, John, and keeping an eye on, because that sluggishness has crept in the past couple of games, hasn't it? Got away with it at Celtic Park the other night, didn't really get away with it against Hibernian at Easter Road, but obviously there was circumstances as well that Celtic didn't get any kind of result at Easter Road, but we'll quickly brush that off and leave that aside. But I'm fully expecting them to be, from the first whistle today, to be bang at it.
Folks, thanks for joining us live in the chat. If you're with us, or you're joining us afterwards, or if you're joining us on Facebook, or you're joining us on social media outlet X, even apparently we're broadcast live to there as well. That brings up the numbers a little bit. Tony, we'll get predictions from folk in the chat in a minute. But how do you see today panning out? Do you think this is going to be a comfortable win for Celtic, or are you expecting this to be a to and fro game?
I expect it to be a to and fro game, but I expect the scoreline at the end to be comfortable enough. I think St Mirren will score. I have to say that, and I think it will finish 3-1, John. That's my overall prediction. They were 3-0 earlier in the season, but I think St Mirren will get on the score sheet. So I'll say 3-1, but it might be like a consolation goal the same way Aberdeen got the other night. I'm hoping that's the case, John.
and like everyone watching today, I'm an avid watcher of the Celtic way, and it's usually Tony who goes one up or one down when it comes to the prediction. But it's going to be my turn today because I'm going to go for a little bit tighter. I think it might be a hard-fought 2-1 win for Celtic today, shall we say. So maybe a little bit of drama here and there, a little bit of tension, but I think Celtic's quality will turn out. We'll get a couple of predictions in here. Natalie McMillan thinks it'll be 4-0 to the boys. That would be a solid result on the road in Paisley. Thomas Burns saying 2-0 to Celtic. So there's confidence that Celtic are going to get the job done today, despite, the threat of St Mirren.
I mean, there always is confidence to me. I'm like you. Whatever team the manager puts out, I've got full confidence in them to do the job. It's a temporary blip. Last week, wasn't it? And but as I say, they battered Hibs in the second half and should have got a result in that one. And then the other night they were off it for about 10 minutes, and then everything came good. They were 3-0 up at half time, and the job was done. So I've no qualms about the starting 11. And I just know St Mirren are going to come at you and try and see if there's any frailties that they can expose, and they're going to do it early, just to see if you can stand up to that. And I think Celtic will stand up to it, which is why my scoreline prediction is the way it is. And I know Celtic supporters maybe not, I'm not saying they're not happy with Adam either starting, but I've got a feeling he'll get in the score sheet today, John.
Okay, well, we'll hang on to that for after the match. Tony will be joining me after the match, after he's spoken to the manager in the post-match press conference and all that good stuff. A couple of people backing you. Welsh Ball says 3-1 to Celtic today. Charles McBreen says 3-1 to Celtic today. So they're on your horse. I've got John Summers saying 2-1 for the boys today. That's a fine collection of lawnmowers there as well, John Summers, in your profile picture. We like to see that. Good for you. You'll be getting back on a lawnmower soon enough. Someone going 3-0 to the Hoops today. So we'll see. He's expecting the physical battle from St Mirren today, and that's their right. They play to their strengths, don't they, Tony? They'll play to their strengths. They'll try to do a number on Celtic, and like we said in the first part of the show, it's on Celtic to show that they can combat that. Specifically Austin Trusty, I think Cameron Carter-Vickers. It's a big afternoon for them.
Yeah, without a doubt, and the onus is going to be on them to withstand anything that St Mirren throw at them. I think most people are confident in Cameron Carter-Vickers. It's maybe Trusty that's the worry of the pair, because Kieran Bowie last week gave him a torrid time, didn't he, at Easter Road? Certainly in the first half, there was a real physical presence there, and so I'm just hoping that whoever it is, I'll tell you who it is. It's Olasanya and Mandron are both playing.
Yeah.
So the two of them have to pick up one each, but. So whoever it is who's picking up whatever player, then just stand up, stay big, and be ready for that physical combat that's coming your way.
Yeah, and the same goes for Rio Tati and Arne Engels. They need to be right on it today as well, because it's going to be a battle. It's one I'm looking forward to. I think this is a good game. I think with St Mirren so much still riding in their season, and Celtic, motivated and going for, there's a cup game next week, so this is the last league game before playing Rangers again. So there's a few wee narratives around this, and Celtic will just want to keep picking up points, picking up wins. On you go, Tony.
If there is any points dropped to Ibrox today, Celtic will know the score by the time they take to the field, then hammer home that advantage.
Yeah.
And take every chance you get to apply that scoreboard pressure, as the manager once famously called it. And, they win today, it'll take it down to 4 wins, won't it, to win the title?
Yeah.
So that's the focus, and that's the job that's ahead of Celtic. Just win the football match and tick another one off.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we'll say goodbye for now, Tony. As I say, you're joining us after the match. You're writing up the kind of instant analysis for the website, etc., live from Paisley, and then you're chatting to Brendan Rodgers, and then we'll have you on the stream. We'll be chatting about Celtic, and hopefully everyone in the chat, will be a Celtic victory that we're talking about.
Indeed. Look forward to that, John. Speak to you soon.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. I'll catch you after the